Well, would you look at that? I actually came on time. I'm never on time. Whenever I do lives, my hair. Whenever I do lives, I'm always late. I'm always late. But today I am actually on time. So kind of proud of myself about that. Once people enter the chat, I want you all to say hi. There you are. There you are. I want you to say hi. I want you to tell me how your day is going. Hey, Fua. Hey, Just a Person and Man with a Long Last Name. Some of your handles are funny. Oh, man. Let me tell you something. Oh my gosh. I don't, and by the way, this is like a side note, but I do not want to hear from you guys about my appearance, okay? I do not want to hear about how my skin is greasy. Okay. Hey everyone. Hey Mohammed. Hey Wolf. Hey Wee Wee Jumbo. Man with a long last name said, I'm doing terribly. Why? With love from Egypt. Oh, sending you love. Hey, Ahmed. Oh, I am very happy to see you guys. I missed you guys while I was in Massachusetts. I missed my YouTube fam because you guys are probably, no, I shouldn't say it. I mean, because I don't want to throw my other communities under the bus on the other platforms, but you guys are one of my favorites, my YouTube fam. Thank you, Tarek. Yeah, I need to learn how to style it more because when he first did my hair, it looked really good. Like it looked so good the way he styled it, but I'm not really great at styling my hair, so I need to figure out how to do that. Narnar, I was in Massachusetts taking care of my sister because she had surgery. And I'm excited though, because they're going to be visiting me soon. Is it just because of general yoga? That's part of it, Just a Person. That is part of it. You need to be supported with you presenting. Oh, Ahmed, I'm not sure what you mean by that. But I got my coffee and I am ready for this stream. I don't know if any of you guys are going to be watching the debate tonight. I will be watching it, and then I'll probably be making content about it and making videos about it, about how it goes. I'm not really looking forward to it because I think, yeah, there is a debate. There is a presidential debate tonight between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. And honestly, I'm not looking forward to it because I think Joe Biden is going to fall on his face. And I think that Donald Trump, despite the fact that Donald Trump is such a liar and so ridiculous, he comes across as strong and as a truth teller, despite the fact that he's neither, because he does it with so much bluster and conviction. So, I mean, he will I heard somebody say one time, and I think it's true. I can't remember who said it. They said the GOP, the Republicans, conservatives lie with the same amount of conviction or with more conviction than Democrats or liberals will tell the truth. It was something like that, but it's true. So even if Donald Trump doesn't do well, I feel like he will be perceived as having won because of his bluster and his ability to lie with such confidence. And Joe Biden is senile, okay? Joe Biden is senile, and he's going to trip all over himself, and he's not going to know what to say, and he's probably going to forget where he is, and so he'll be perceived as losing. Oh, hey, old bony bird. How you doing? KGB agent or cyber that I missed last firmware update. Oh, I don't know what you mean. What is your Wolf? You wrote what is your opinion about the ADL Wikipedia situation? I'm not sure I know what you're talking about. Did something happen? Narnar said, who cares about the debate? Forget it. Oh, I care. I care. Especially because this is probably going to be one of the most watched debates we've ever had. And it's being moderated by two Zionist psychopaths. So I feel like it's important for me to watch it and to break it down and to debunk their propaganda. Because if no one pushes back on it, then people are just going to believe it. And one of these old pieces of human debris is going to end up being the president in our so-called democracy. Things I'm tired of hearing, that we live in a democracy in the United States. LOL. LOL. Hey, Jacob. Ooh, I need to know what you guys are talking about. This ADL thing. Old Bony Bird, I agree with you. That's exactly what I think is going to happen too. Trump is going to come out swinging and Biden is going to be old and doddering. And regardless of what is actually said, it's going to be the perception of strength that ends up determining whether or not people think they won. Who won? I keep getting on. About Michael Rappaport. Yeah. I don't know if any of you guys saw it, if any of you that are in my YouTube community follow me on Twitter, but I was in like a long back and forth with him. Like, I think it was the night before last night. And he started it as per our usual arrangement because he's obsessed with me. He started attacking me and he started, just like calling me names or whatever, retweeting me, calling me names. And he does this really creepy thing where he'll go to my TikTok and screenshot it. Like he's like constantly stalking me on other social media platforms, like stalking me on Twitter. He'll be like stalking me on TikTok. He'll like look for my TikTok and like try to like, I don't know, stalk me there. And then all he does, his whole shtick is just making fun of the fact that I look the way that I do. Like he makes fun of my appearance. That's his whole thing. That's it. He can't say anything. He can't say anything about what I say. Okay? Because everything I say is true. When I call out this colonizer and his lies, and he doesn't say, he can't defend his hideous positions. So he just calls me names, like, and talks about my appearance, which actual Lamau, because he's so ugly, like unironically, he's so ugly. So I'm like, whose appearance are you mocking? Like his two things is to mock my appearance. And then he'll like do it using gifs of like random women, which is so creepy to me because it's like, bro, you've already been like had a restraining order against you. What is your like fetish with like picking up photos and gifs of other women, like rubbing oil on themselves and doing their makeup? Like it's just creepy. And ostensibly his reason is to point out that I have filler, that I have lip filler. Bro, first of all, no amount of filler will help how ugly you are. Let's just be straight about that. Number two, he thinks he's doing like an own. Like, I don't care at all. Are you kidding me? In Israel, it's literally a rite of passage to get your fucking nose done the second you turn 16. And I'm not talking any hate against people who get plastic surgery. I love plastic surgery. I'm all for it. I have had it. I think it's wonderful. I think people should do it. Makes them feel good about themselves. I have had filler. I've had microneedling, like all these kinds of things. I'm all about it. If you're not happy with your appearance, change it. But I just think it's funny that he's obsessed with talking about filler when there literally isn't anybody in Israel that doesn't have a fuck ton of filler and a fuck ton of plastic surgery and a fuck ton of nose jobs. Like, come on. Remember the hostage, Mia Shem or whatever, who has so much lip filler, it looks like her lips are going to fall off her face? Yeah. Come on. Also, I just think it's funny that, that's the other thing, because the reply said misogyny is one of his top tropes. It's true, because what I find funny is that the Zionists are always like, Oh, well, the thing is that we in Israel believe in gay rights and women's rights. Look at our pride parade. Look at our IOF female soldiers carrying weapons. And they think it's all like this like thing that they can own. But Michael Rappaport, that hideous burnt red sun raisin, is like talking specifically in his attacks toward me for me being a I guess some people the medical term is AFAB, assigned female at birth, and the fact that I'm non-binary. Like he literally, one of his quote unquote owns or dunks of me was that I'm non-binary, and he was like, "Oh, they them," and like because I'm female presenting, he's always commenting all these like misogynistic attacks. So it's like it's just so funny that it's all Israel, unlike Gaza, so pro LGBTQ plus and woman friendly. Meanwhile, you have this hideous predator who is literally actually does unironically look like a potato in a country which Crimson just pointed out where same-sex marriage is not legal, turning around and using misogynistic and transphobic attacks against me. Like, bro, we see you. We see you. And it's not just him. It's the whole society. That's how they be. That's how they do. Transphobic as fuck, misogynistic as fuck, racist as fuck. And then they turn around and call people all those names and then go, can you believe? Try being queer in Gaza. Okay? Like, it's so embarrassing. All right, I was going off. Now I have to catch up on ADL is still considered a reliable. I know. ADL is a joke. It's a joke. Perpetual. Yeah, always with the pink washing. I think oh, I know. Yeah, just like the female IOF soldiers always have like a ton of makeup on. Like they always have so much makeup on. It's like, how are you in combat? Like, hey Zach, hey Mohammed. How you guys doing? I just thought it was funny that aside from being transphobic and misogynistic, his main attacks of me was that I guess am unattractive. Playboy, you don't get to call anybody unattractive. Literally. You don't. He literally looks like a potato, a sunburnt colonizing potato who has really thinning hair. Okay. Oh, Saeed, that's so kind of you. Saeed gifted 50 memberships. That's amazing. Thank you so much. I think that how it works is that when somebody gifts a membership, people that aren't members yet can just like click on it and take it. I think that's how it works. That is so sweet, Saeed. Thank you so much. You guys are such a great community. Okay, so one thing I want to talk about that's super positive really quick is there is an account that is on Instagram that I found. Actually, somebody mentioned it to me, brought it up to me on Twitter, and I started following them. And it's this guy who runs a organization rescuing animals in the north of Gaza. And it really just melted my heart. Like I was like so emotional last night going through it, not only because I hate seeing animals get hurt, and he was telling stories about like some of the puppies that he tried to rescue and not all of them made it. But maybe I can pull it up so you can see it. But there was this one dog that I just fell in love with, that he had his ears taken off by someone. It wouldn't surprise me if it were an IOF soldier, honestly. I mean, I know there's obviously evil people in every society, but that's what I thought when I saw it. And he had surgery, and now he's like being nursed back to health by this guy. It was like the sweetest thing. The dog is so cute. Like, I would take this dog. If somebody had a way to get this dog from Gaza to me to keep, I would keep this dog. He was so cute. We have to find his picture, okay? And I would encourage all of you guys to follow this guy because he's doing the Lord's work. This is the thing. This guy is an amazing person because the thing is that this guy is such an amazing person because he rescues animals, dogs and cats in Gaza that have been abandoned or have been hurt or have been just, you know, there was dogs that have been crushed by rubble from bombing. And it just like warmed my heart to know that someone cares about these animals despite what is happening in Gaza, because honestly, it would be understandable with everything that's happening in Gaza, the fact that they've got no supplies, no food, people are dying left and right, that like you wouldn't be as focused on the animals. But as an animal lover, to know that there is someone like this guy that is going out of his way to rescue and save animals with all of the genocide happening on top of them is just amazing. Like, that is such a beautiful person. Beautiful person. I need to find this guy. Where is he? I forget the name of the account. If somebody has the name of the account, just put it in my chat. Oh, it was so sad. Oh, I forget the name. This is so annoying. There's got to be an easier way to find it. Maybe. Is there like a recently followed tab on Instagram? Hello. I have no way of confirming this records, but basically the IOF. Oh no. No, that's horrible. Yes, thank you, old bony bird. Sula, rescue. It is Sula. There we go. All right. I'm going to share my screen so you guys can see the incredibly ridiculously cute dog. Yeah. Thank you, Saeed, for gifting all those memberships. A bunch of people just got them now. Share screen. Okay. This is the rescue. So if you guys, can you guys see it? If you guys are not following this account, please do, because it's amazing. Okay. This guy, I don't know if it's just one person, but because he's like the main guy. I think there are some other people, but he rescues animals. This one broke my heart. I literally couldn't handle it. This video of him trying to resuscitate this puppy and he can't. He's trying to resuscitate this puppy and he can't because the dog was left in the heat. The dog was left in the heat. That just hurts my heart. Like, oh, it's so difficult to watch. And like some of the dogs, he got left in the heat, like under a car. And he and this other guy went and rescued all of the dogs and like took care of them and are like nursing them back to health. It was like so amazing. I don't know where I saw. I think it might have been. It's just so. I don't know. I don't know if you guys are dog people, but like as a dog person, I just felt like so moved by this, by like seeing the way that, like with everything that people in Gaza are going through, the fact that these guys like still are making it a priority to rescue these animals and take care of them when they've been abandoned, some of them in the heat and the hot sun when they're just puppies. Like a puppy is a defenseless dog. Like some of these puppies were just newly born and are totally defenseless. They have no way to care for themselves. So to like know that these guys are caring for them, it's just like so heartwarming and good to know. Okay, I don't know where the video went of the dog that the puppies, but like we need to talk about this dog, okay? Do you guys see how cute this is the dog that I want. Oh, thank you, old bony bird. Look at this dog, you guys. He's so cute. He's so cute. He's so cute. There was another. Look at him. I can't. No, I get. Oh, he's so small. He's so pathetic. No, no, my little baby. I unironically want this dog. Somebody tell me how to get this dog. I'm like, I just want him so bad. I mean, I don't know if they're keeping him, but like, look at him. And he's like, he goes like this when he walks. Like, it's so pathetic. Oh my gosh, look at him. Like, look at how he walks. And he when he walks, like he does that. Like, it's so pathetic. I just can't even handle it. I can't even handle it. He's so cute. Oh, he's so pathetic. Oh my God, I can't deal with it. He's so cute. Honestly, like, my heart hurts thinking about somebody wanting to hurt this dog. Why? And that's the reason why I think it must have been the IOF that did it. Because why would you do this to a dog? First of all, to any dog, even if you don't think the dog is that cute. Why you would do this to any dog. But why somebody could hurt a dog like this that is so innocent and so cute. Like, you are some kind of evil. You are some kind of evil. That's why I think it must have been an IOF soldier. Like, he's so cute. He's so cute. I want him. I want to go to Gaza and I want to adopt him. I don't even know if they're adopting him out, but I want him. Oh my gosh, he's so pathetic. I just can't even deal with it. He's so pathetic. Like, honestly, like, I feel like understandably we don't talk about the animals a lot when it comes to the genocide in Gaza, because understandably we're focused on the humans and the children. But I think we should spend more time talking about the animals, and if people should support these types of pages and the work that this guy is doing, because it is so important. It is so vital. Like, because dogs and cats, like animals, horses, whatever, they are helpless like children. And I know they're not the same. Obviously, children are humans and more important, but like, looking at how pathetic he is, he's just like, he doesn't have anything. Like, look at him run. The way he runs is like so pathetic. I just can't even deal with it. And it's like, they have no way of defending themselves. They are defenseless animals and they have nothing. And the fact that like they're just being left like this, and they're just being hurt like this. It's just like, oh my gosh, I know it really hurts. It hurts a lot. The idea that anybody would want to hurt a dog like this, or even the people that aren't hurting the dogs, but the dogs are just being left. Like, that's another thing. Like, it's not just about the dogs that are getting hurt, which is horrific. It's about the dogs that are just getting left. Because, like I said, I understand that like the people of Gaza are undergoing a genocide and a famine right now. So they're trying to look after their kids. And as a result of that, all these animals are getting left behind. They're getting bombed. Like, they're starving to death. The dogs that he rescued, oh my gosh, I just can't. Oh my gosh, please, I'm writing, please let me adopt this dog. Oh my gosh, I want it. Saeed's daughter Doda named him Speed. That's like the cutest thing. That is literally like the cutest thing. I don't even know. He might not be putting him up for adoption anyway. He might just be, he might have kept him. I'm not sure. So I guess his name is Saeed. Like, in any event, I don't remember where the video was, but there was oh my gosh, he's so pathetic. I just can't even deal with it. Oh my gosh, he's so cute. I don't remember where the video was. Maybe it was, but it was a ton of puppies that he found that were just left in the scorching heat, like left in the scorching heat to die. and he rescued them. It's like, no, you guys. To me, people like Saeed. So again, if you're not following him, follow him. To me, people like Saeed are the best of humanity. The best of humanity. Because with everything he's going through, it would be understandable for him to only be focusing on himself. But instead, he's going out of his way to make sure that he's doing, and the people that are working with him, to rescue these animals. And oh, absolutely wonderful people. I've heard the word pathetic used as a term of endearment. Yes, it is. That is how I often use it. Pathetic means, when I say pathetic, like obviously pathetic can have multiple meanings here, the way we use it. When I use the term pathetic, I don't always mean like it in its literal definition. I will often call my own dogs pathetic when they look really cute, because it means, it's like a term of endearment to describe something very cute and helpless. Like that's how it's used. That's how I use it. When I'm describing like my dog, when he looks really, really cute and helpless, I'll say so pathetic. Because they're just so helpless and adorable and cute and precious. But this guy is like such a great guy. Like he deserves to have a lot of followers. He deserves to have a lot of support. Yeah, Joe Biden is pathetic, but in the literal sense, okay? Literal sense, not the cute dog sense. You've been emailing PETA to talk to him about it, but they ignore it. That's terrible. Oh, that's terrible. Okay, there was something that I wanted to go over with you guys that I didn't cover like on my TikTok, because I wanted to do it during this stream, and now I'm trying to remember. Oh, it was the Van Jones thing. It was the Van Jones thing. First of all right, we're gonna get to that in a second. Regarding Jamal Bowman and him losing the race that he lost. I know. Yeah, my take on Bolivia is LOL that it failed. Like it failed. Like they tried to do a coup and it failed. Because they want to steal their lithium. So the thing about Biden is that he's not only pathetic, but he's incredibly selfish and narcissistic. Because if he actually really cared about the threat that the Republicans face, like the Republicans, why am I not finding the word? Losing my train of thought. That the Republicans are to the country and that the people face if the Republicans are to get in power, then he would step down. He would step down, but he won't. If they really were that afraid of Donald Trump, then he would step down because he's going to lose. He's going to lose. He has a 30%, like a 32% approval rating. You're not going to win with that approval rating. So if they're that worried, why doesn't he step down? Like it's just pure narcissism. Fuwa Chen, there's a lot of things wrong with the US, but one of them is that we keep pretending that we're a democracy and we're not. Like our elections are essentially auctions. Whoever has the most money, whoever the biggest lobbyist is, they can just buy our elected officials. And we have this facade, this big facade of democracy, but if you actually were to poll the American people, most people don't want either of them. Most Americans do not want either Joe Biden or Donald Trump, but we have them because we have this illusion of democracy. We live in this illusion of choice, but we don't really have it. And they just give whoever office to the highest bidder. And our country is so corrupt. Like our politics, our government is so corrupt. Like it's funny because a lot of times, like our country will attack other countries and call them banana republics and dictatorships and be like, it's like Venezuela. We can't handle Russia. Russia's a dictatorship. Meh, 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 meh. But it's like, what? And we're not? We're a democracy, really? Because whoever has the most money in this country gets to be in control. Whoever has the most power. Our country is incredibly corrupt. All of our politics is based on money and bribery. Our politics, this whole you vote and then you get a representative and then they represent you is just not true. What happens is we vote and the corrupt person who spends the most money in the election wins, and then they do the bidding of their donors and not their voters. And it has been getting worse and worse and worse. Like we're living in a late stage capitalism crumbling empire right now in the United States. Okay. Late stage capitalism crumbling empire. Oh, hey, JT. And it doesn't matter. There was a study that came out not that long ago. It was a few years ago that said public opinion has little to no effect on public policy, meaning what the public, the regular everyday citizens of America want has little to no effect on the way that our legislators and lawmakers work. And old Boney Bird, you're correct. We have an electoral college, which is a vestige of slavery in this country that makes it so the person who doesn't win the popular vote often gets to take office. It's a ridiculous, ridiculous thing. And honestly, like, it is getting worse because we live in a late stage capitalist hellscape here and an empire that's just crumbling before our eyes. We don't acknowledge that, like, our country keeps getting more and more corrupt as time goes on. Like in 2010, the Supreme Court voted in favor of Citizens United, which made it so that anyone with enough money could put as much money in our elections as they wanted. It meant that dark money packs and billionaires could just spend unlimited amounts of money in our races, our congressional races, our presidential races. Like that is literally corruption. It is actual corruption. It's actual buying of elections and auctions. And since then, since that 2010 decision, it's literally just continued to erode. Every couple of years, they make bribery more and more and more legal. Yesterday, you guys, the Supreme Court literally gutted the definition of what it means to take bribes and gifts from donors so that our politicians and our Supreme Court justices can take actual bribes and gifts from donors in order to do their bidding. And the Supreme Court said, no, that's not bribery. That's like a gratuity. It's like a tip. Like, it's insane. In a sane world, when you give someone money to do something for you and then they do it, that is literally called bribery. But in the United States of fucking capitalism and whoever has the most money wins, our country is so corrupt that the Supreme Court has spent years gutting any kind of anti-corruption laws, any kind of anti-bribery laws, to the point where they're making it legal now to straight up bribe someone and calling it a tip. Like, it's insane. Our elections are a joke. They're a joke. It's so corrupt. And that brings me to the fact that Jamal Bowman lost his congressional race because AIPAC spent $22 million in his race to unseat him. Okay? $22 million. And that's the other thing that's so disgusting about this is that our country is literally falling apart. It's falling apart at the seams. We have like aging infrastructure. People are living in poverty. And yet You look at the amount of money that people are spending in politics, it's fucking disgusting. It's disgusting the amount of money that is poured into our politics. The way that they pour money, billionaires, dark money PACs, corporations, all of them, oil tycoons, lobbying groups, foreign governments, the way that they pour money into our elections is disgusting. And you know why they do it? So that they can protect corporations, the military industrial complex, and the rich further. That's why. Because why do you think they're putting that money in there? For fun? Because there was a bunch of idiots on Twitter being like, actually, the reason why Jamal Bowman lost is because he's anti-Semitic. No, the reason why he lost is because AIPAC put millions of dollars in his race against him. That's why. And why do you think they do that? Why do you think they put that kind of money into a race like that? For funsies? No, they put money in there to get a return on their investment. So if they spend, and it's a good return on their investment, because if they spend $22 million taking out Jamal Bowman and then get George Latimer, who said he wants to extend Trump's tax cuts for the rich, the windfall that those rich people and those corporations are going to get are billions, sometimes trillions of dollars. Billions, sometimes trillions of dollars they will get in a return on their investment for the politician they bought. Our politicians are fully for sale. It's totally evil. Yeah. And then today, they, Fua, you just brought up something very interesting. I'll show it on X. They just voted Congress, because again, our Congress is never votes on anything that would actually help the American people, okay? Never. It's never like, hey, we should vote on healthcare. We should vote on paid family leave. Never. The only thing, because like I said, it's all connected. It's all connected. Our politicians are simply puppets of all of the money, whether that is foreign governments like Israel, whether it is oil companies here, corporations, rich people who don't want to pay their taxes, all of those people. Okay. So so basically what happens is our Congress doesn't do anything for us. They won't pass a bill of paid family leave, minimum wage, nothing. What they do is they get into office because all those interests buy them. They get into office because the powerful interests buy them, and then they vote on their behalf. So they vote based on what the lobbyists tell them. They vote based on what the PACs who bought them tell them. The rich people that bought their seat, they tell them how to vote, and then they vote that way. So this happened today. Trying to not work. The House just voted 269 to 144 on an amendment trying to erase the Gaza death toll. Rashida Tlaib called it genocide denial. Yeah, because it is. Over 60 Democrats joined it. That is disgusting. Literal Holocaust denial at this point. I was looking at your comments about Bowman. You got so much misogyny. I know. It's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah, Zios will attack your marginalized identity. They can. But then what I love is they turn around and they pretend to be inclusive as a way to attack Palestinians. So they'll say transphobic and misogynistic and racist shit, and then they'll turn around and be like, oh, we're so pro-LGBTQ, as a way to try to discredit or attack Palestinian people. Ashcon, you said you knew I was in Brooklyn. How'd you know? Is it because I wear a hat often that says Brooklyn on it? Yeah, it's true, Tariq. I actually am working on a video about that right now. That Zionists say racist shit all the time and no one says anything about it. Literally no one says anything about it. The amount of shit that George Latimer said about Jamal Bowman that was so openly racist and no one even batted an eye. Which is crazy to me because in 2020, during the George Floyd protest, people were like really getting backlash if they said something racist or anti-Black. And now it's like all that went away. Like nobody cares. Like he said openly racist shit and everyone's like, yeah, anyway. Like, where are all the white liberals who were kneeling? Like, it just shows how full of shit they are. Where are you guys? Where are all you white libs that were like kneeling and wearing kente cloth? Yes. Yeah, and like they're all the racist things that they have said about Breonna Joy Gray. Oh my gosh, it's incredible. It's incredible. And the thing is that's funny too is because it just shows how actually racist they are and dehumanizing they are because Breonna Joy Gray is really smart. No matter how you feel about her politics, she's a very, very smart woman. She went to Harvard. Like she's intelligent in the way that she presents her arguments. Like she's a smart person. She worked for Bernie Sanders as a press secretary. Like, and then they turn around and call her DEI Barbie. It's like so insanely racist. It's like not even funny. Wait, I wanted to look at that. What is her name? Ida Chavez. Here she is. So she said, prohibits funds appropriated by this act to be made available for the State Department to cite statistics obtained from the Gaza Health Ministry. That is insane. Insane. Literal genocide denial. Like, unironically. This is so crazy, you guys. This is so crazy. Every single day, the Israeli regime does something, and then we support it. That makes me further understand that this is not a free country. I know we already said that we're not a democracy, like we're not a democracy, but every day that they do something like this, that our Congress does something like this, is a reminder that we do not live in a free country. America is not a free country. It's an illusion of a free country, because this is insane. You're literally telling people that they are not allowed to speak about the genocide and the death toll in Gaza in our supposed free country with the First Amendment. Okay? You're telling people that they are not allowed to speak about the death toll and the genocide in Gaza in a country that is ostensibly free and has a First Amendment. What? What? Wow. It's insane. Let's listen to Rashida Tlaib, what she says about it.
I wanted to say how absolutely unconscionable
Can you guys
that my colleagues are offering an amendment to prevent our U.S. government from even citing the Palestinian death toll. Since 1948, Mr. Speaker, there has been a coordinated effort, especially in this chamber, to dehumanize Palestinians and erase Palestinians from existence. The ethnic cleansing of Palestinians did not end in 1948. Today, Mr. Speaker, we are witnessing the Israeli apartheid government carry out a genocide in Gaza and in real time. And then this amendment is an attempt to hide it. Let me remind you all of the words of an Israeli defense minister who said, quote, we are imposing a complete siege on Gaza. No electricity, no food, no water, no fuel, everything closed. We are fighting human animals, end of quote. They don't even see Palestinians as human beings, Mr. Speaker. And here we are. My colleagues want to prohibit our own U.S. officials from even citing the Palestinian death toll. So let me read it into the record. Here are the latest casualties of Palestinians killed. 37,718 Palestinians.
That we know of.
Including more than 15,000 Palestinian children. and more than 86,377 Palestinians have been injured. 6 children, Mr. Speaker, 6 are killed in Gaza every single hour. But Palestinians are not just numbers. Behind these numbers are real people, mothers, fathers, sons, daughters, who have had their lives stolen from them and their families torn apart. And we should not be trying to hide it.
This is Holocaust.
These are innocent children and babies who have been bombed in their tents, burned alive, dismembered, and deliberately starved to death.
Yep.
Where is our shared humanity in this chamber? There is so much anti-Palestinian racism in this chamber that my colleagues don't even want to acknowledge that Palestinians exist at all. Not when they're alive, and now not even when they're dead. It's absolutely disgusting. This is genocide denial. Mr. Speaker, I know the majority of this chamber doesn't believe Palestinians should live or exist, but I won't remain silent as the only Palestinian American serving in Congress. While folks attempt to ever even erase those who were killed with our own weapons. So if I may, later at the appropriate time, I will submit for the inclusion into the congressional record the list of the Palestinians killed in Gaza. And Mr. Speaker, it is important to note this to everyone here. The list is too long that I can't even submit it because of the text limit. That's how many have been killed.
It's so, I feel so bad for Rashida Tlaib. And it's not just her, it's every Palestinian that but I feel bad for Rashida Tlaib because she basically has to work in this hideously horrific environment where her humanity is constantly denied. She's constantly having to say she's human. And she has all these hostile, racist, bigoted colleagues. And she's just one person. That is hard to watch. It is unbelievable. Do not let them do this. We cannot allow them to erase the deaths of the Palestinians. And the count that she referenced was low. Because I will remind everybody that they have been saying the death toll was in the 30-something thousands for months. Months. It is likely probably past 100,000 at this point because they're not counting people that they haven't been able to fully identify or match with an ID. So that means that anybody that was bombed beyond recognition, anybody that was trapped under the rubble, anybody who may have been buried in a mass grave and has not been found yet have not been counted. Have not been counted. This would be but they don't want to acknowledge that. They want to do Holocaust denial. Because this would be if after 9/11 happened and a bunch of people had died in the towers and then they didn't have IDs or we couldn't find their bodies under the rubble to match them with the IDs, so we just refused to count them. Can you imagine? I can't. Being no. I don't know where their bodies went because they were crushed when the towers collapsed, so they don't exist. We're not counting them. This is actual Holocaust denial. And it's insane. The gaslighting of constantly, yeah, Jacob, I know, because they say the Hamas-run health ministry, the Hamas-run health ministry, so you can't believe anything they say. It's bro, the gaslighting is just so amazing. So, they are constantly trying to make themselves victims, constantly trying to make themselves victims. Never again would you hide me. At the very same time that they are doing exactly those atrocities to the Palestinians. Literally doing those exact same atrocities, including genocide and then Holocaust denial to the Palestinian people. It's so insane. Would you hide me? Oh my gosh. I just can't. I just can't. It's so sick. It's so depraved. It's so deranged. And we can't let them get away with making this the narrative. And they are trying. They are trying. Like, and when I say we can't let them, I mean, all of us have to keep speaking up. First of all, if you are a voter in the United States, you should vote against anybody that is funding and supporting this and doing Holocaust denial. But another thing is, we should never let them forget it. Because what they're trying to do is they're trying to erase Palestinian existence from the map. And we can't let them do that. We have to constantly remind people what liars they are and what the truth is. Because they're always trying to do it. It's like the, ADL trying to, hold. I just lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah. It's like the ADL trying to tell people what they should believe and what should be said. Okay? It's like that. But even if it's a lie, it's like Jake Tapper and Dana Bash doing atrocity propaganda and then wanting everybody to believe it. And then our legislators voting in the lies and the genocide denial. Like, we always have to be speaking out against it because they are going to continue to lie and try to do Palestinian erasure. JT McCoy. Okay, pause for a second because I want to take a moment to thank JT McCoy. I've been on this live stream for almost an hour, and JT is the first person that sent me a super chat. So thank you so much, JT. I love you. Thank you for the super chat. You can do that. You can become a member. You can donate to my Ko-Fi, to my, or become a member on Ko-Fi, or donate to my Venmo, whatever. But obviously, it's your support that helps me be able to do this. So I love you, and thank you so much. I named my new kitty. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes, that's hilarious. That is hilarious. Oh my gosh. Hamas cat. Okay, speaking of which, JT, you know what this just reminded me of? And I wanted to show you guys this, and then I got distracted. Look at what some lunatic wrote on my profile. Okay, so I shared, trigger warning, this poor little kitty. I might have to blur it out after when I re-edit it. You can't really see anything actually. Or I might just but this cat was bombed, right? And so I went to their post. Oh, wait, no, that's not my post. That's the one I retweeted. Okay. So I reposted it and wrote about how sad it was. And some crazy person literally wrote, where'd it go? Okay. That cat would still be alive if Hamas freed the hostages and surrendered. Seriously? Seriously? Insane. I can't. Sailor Jerry Swallow, I'm sorry. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you guys so much for helping me continue to support my channel and to support me and help me do the things that I do so that I'm able to. Because, yes, I love you all. I know, it really, this is insanity. Insanity. And another thing that makes me insane is how they will come after people calling out their lunacy, but they don't go after the people for doing the lunacy. Like, this reminded me of this because I was watching TikTok today and I saw a TikTok of this guy who basically just has conversations with genocidal Zionist IOF soldiers. And the soldiers will be on stream, literally bragging about killing civilians and laughing about it like it ain't no thing. And they don't get penalized. But then, the person who just showed the video will get penalized. It's like we're living in this time and in this culture where there's a whole Zionist protection racket, a whole Israel protection racket, where people will get penalized for noticing things. So if you say genocidal shit and you post genocidal shit, no one cares. No one says anything. But noticing it is the problem. It's insane. We have to fight for our free speech, you guys. This would be over if Hamas would just surrender. I know. Especially since, first of all, they're not going to. That's not going to happen. That's not a thing. And second of all, even if they did, the IOF has made it very clear, and so is Netanyahu's government, that they do not plan on stopping. That it doesn't matter if they would get all Hamas. They would keep going anyway. Because the elimination of Hamas is not the goal. It never was. It never was. That's how it feels, Pranay. I know, it literally is everything and anything is Hamas. Like, literally. Sometimes I wonder, you guys, because I know some of you are not in the United States. Sometimes, exactly, old Boney Bird, they want that beachfront property in Gaza. So sometimes I wonder, you guys, for people that are not in the United States. In fact, sometimes I wonder, like, if people who are actually in Gaza know the absurdity of the propaganda here, or if any of the people know who are like in Palestine or who are in other countries in the Middle East, like Egypt or Lebanon. I wonder if people know how embarrassing the discourse is here in the United States, in the West in general, how everything is Hamas. Like, I wonder if like they know like, but did you condemn Hamas? Yes, Rust. But did the cat condemn Hamas? Like, I just wonder if people that are like in the Middle East, like, know that Hamas has basically become the talking point and the boogeyman and the answer and the reason and the discussion for anything and everything happening in the world. like it's literally a joke. We are actually living in a different universe and time capsule. And speaking of gaslighting from our media, let's watch this Van Jones clip. I've wanted to show you guys this. In fact, I saved it. Okay? Oman and damn, you people in the West are getting brainwashed. For real, Rayla. For real. It's amazing. But the problem is, Rayla, is that those of us who are speaking out and fighting against the propaganda in the West, people are getting shut down, and our Congress is trying to shut us down, and companies are trying to shut us down. Like, they see that there are Americans that are trying to, and other people in the West that are trying to fight against this propaganda, and then they target them or they try to criminalize them. That's when they passed that law or they didn't pass it. They passed it through the House, criminalizing free speech because they don't want people fighting against the Israeli regime. So they're trying to make free speech illegal here. They don't want people talking about it. But this reminded me, speaking of all the gaslighting, of this clip from the other day regarding that came from Van Jones. And I saved it to watch it with you guys because it was so insane. He's so embarrassing. Okay, so just for context, super quick, for those of you who don't know, Perry Stein, thank you so much. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. I appreciate your donation. You guys help me keep doing this work, so thank you so much. I love you guys. So for context, I don't know how many of you guys heard about the protest that happened last weekend in LA, where a bunch of settlers and Americans were selling property in Palestine, in occupied West Bank, to future settlers, which is illegal. It's illegal here. It's illegal under international law. And they were doing that. So people protested that. And of course, speaking of what Pranay said a second ago, our media are such liars, and it is such insane propaganda. They lie so much, and the propaganda is so thick in this country that they all spun it to say that it was an attack on Jewish people outside of a synagogue just for being Jewish, which is not what it was at all. That's not what it was. No one was attacking people for just being Jewish. What happened was these people held the event in a synagogue, which is pretty disgusting. Like, shame on you for holding it in a place of worship. And so people protested that. And then a Zionist attacked some of the protesters, and our entire media and our Congress all lied in unison and said that it was the protesters that were being violent. Okay. So that's what happens. That's what I mean when I say the propaganda in this country, in the West, in America is so thick. It is so thick. The control that Israel has over our government and over our media is so thick that you can't even go and look for the facts about a protest that happened outside of this synagogue because they were selling illegally this property and this real estate without all of them lying about it and saying that it was actually about anti-Semitism. That's not what it was about. So our State Department lied, our Congress lied, our media lied, and all went on TV trotting out like the propagandists that they are and saying that it was an attack. Oh, and the police, good point out, Fua, you're right, the police, because they're the arm of this thuggery that comes out here and arrests peaceful protesters, and then they can't come out here and they lie in coordination with our police, with our State Department, with the military-industrial complex, with the media, and say that this was an anti-Semitic attack, when in actuality, these were just pro-Palestinian protesters protesting against this illegal sale of real estate. And it was Zionists that physically attacked them. And that it's such propaganda. It's such propaganda. It's so thick. It's so thick. You're like drowning in it. You're drowning in the lies. Guys, it's so thick. You'd be like drowning in the lies and the propaganda. That's the reason why, too, I love when American media will be all, North Korea and Russia doesn't have a free press. Okay. North Korea and Russia doesn't have a free press like we do. No, we don't. You call this a free press? This is a joke. This is not a free press. Get. Nothing free about our corporate propaganda. First of all, our press is owned by multinational corporations. Okay? Our press has been owned by multinational corporations for a long time, and their goal is to make a profit. They're not in the truth-telling business. They're not in the news business. They are in the profit-making business. That's number one. And number two, they will get lobbied by Zionists and will just perpetuate whatever grift and whatever lie they're promoting. So get out of here with, we have a free press. Just a person, thank you so much for the super chat. They have held it there for optics, so they could have twisted the narrative. Thank you again so much for the super chat. I appreciate you guys so much. They were held it there for optics. Oh, you're talking about the real estate event. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Honestly, I think that they held it there on purpose so that when people inevitably and understandably protested it, they could try to be victims. That's what I think happened. Okay. Let's watch this. So that's the context of this Van Jones clip.
Sunday's violent street protests between Los Angeles pro-Palestinian and
I just like how she immediately starts it with violent protests, violent protests. It's like so embarrassing. Just the way they talk about it, the way that they frame it. It's just amazing. The framing is amazing. It's just amazing the way that they frame it, because whenever they talk about the framing and the words that they choose are amazing, because whenever they talk about Palestinians, it's always very passive. And they do this in corporate media, on TV and in print. Whenever they're talking about Palestinians, they just say things like died, like it's really vague. Gazans starving as bombs fall, but they don't tell you who dropped the bombs. It's all very passive, like it just happened. But then when it comes to like the Israelis, they use words, or October 7th, they use words like barbaric, and they'll use words like inhumane and savage when talking about Palestinians. It is always on purpose that they do that. Language is a very powerful tool, and they do that on purpose in order to dehumanize them.
Israel counter demonstrators. Protest organizers say they were targeting a synagogue where an Israel real estate event was taking place. Biden said he's appalled by what he saw. He said, quote, intimidating Jewish congregants is unconscionable, anti-Semitic, and un-American.
CNN obtained this video appearing to show two men wrestling on the ground as
First of all,
others kick them. The violence prompted LA's mayor.
First of all, fuck Joe Biden, like for real. He's such a piece of shit. Like, he literally will be, Joe Biden will be the first one to run out on TV and repeat one of their hoaxes. Like, literally. Like, he did it with the lie about the 40 beheaded babies hoax. Like, Joe Biden will literally be the first one to run out there and repeat one of the hoaxes. Like, it's just amazing. And then he says, oh, it's anti-Semitic. They were attacking them because of the place of worship. That's literally not what happened. But of course, I'm surprised they even mentioned the real estate event, CNN. I'm surprised they even mentioned it because most people didn't. I don't know if you guys were on Twitter the other day when it happened, but most of the people that were talking about this did not even mention the real estate event. They just made it, they presented it as though the pro-Palestinian people were just attacking a synagogue. Like, that's how they made it seem. They made it seem like they were just attacking a synagogue because they're bigots. And like, that's obviously not what happened. Sorry, guys. I think I got cream in my eye. And then the other thing is them being like, oh, there were two men wrestling on the ground. That clip that they just showed went viral the other day, and they were claiming it was a woman. They were saying that this guy was like beating a woman, which wasn't true. They were both men. Yeah, it was honestly infuriating to watch this the other day play out on Twitter because the amount of lying that was happening was just insane.
To beef up security at houses of worship around the city. Let's discuss with CNN senior political commentator and former Obama administration official Van Jones.
He's such a hack.
Van, great to see you. I'm curious to get your reaction to these scenes playing out, not just in Los Angeles, but we've seen similar ones across the country.
My eye. That's what she said.
Well, look, and this is unacceptable. As a father who's actually trying to raise my children in Los Angeles, I want to just applaud Mayor Bass, Governor Newsom, and President Biden for speaking up about this. Listen, if you don't like what's happening in Gaza, it's your right to protest. That's not a problem. But you protest a policy. You don't protest a people. When you protest a policy,
liar. First of all, I like how he's like, protesting is like, you're right. But first of all, it's not really, because every time somebody protests, they attack them. And also they're trying to make it illegal. They're trying to make protesting illegal. Okay. That's number one. Number two, that line is vicious. And it was on purpose. Okay. That smear that he just did to say you protest a policy, not a people. That was an intentional choice. That was a strategy that he used because he wanted to make it seem like the reason why the pro-Palestinian protesters were protesting was because they're bigots, because they're anti-Semitic, that they're protesting a people. No, they weren't. They were protesting the illegal sale of property that is not theirs. And I love when dumb Americans pretend not to understand that concept. We understand that concept because this country doesn't give a fuck about a lot of things, but they care about their damn property rights. How many times have you heard of an American talk about their Second Amendment? Second Amendment. You come to my property rights. Don't tread on me. Gotcha. That's like Americans. They understand property rights. Americans care more about property rights than they do their own children, okay? So this idea of him pretending not to understand the problem with stealing someone's property is quite something. He's such a liar. Lies.
You go to City Hall and you protest. You go to the Israeli consulate peacefully, you protest. Maybe you go to your elected representative, you protest. You don't bum rush a Jewish neighborhood and run up on a synagogue. That's not protesting a policy, that's protesting a people. And that is across any line in America, and it has to be called out. And you have to also understand the context here. This is a neighborhood that's already been traumatized. Not just October 7th, which traumatized all Jewish communities, but that neighborhood in particular. Last year, in February, not one, but two Jewish men, Orthodox Jewish men, were gunned down, were shot in 2 back-to-back hate crimes. So you're dealing with a community that's already traumatized, they're already fearful, and then you go and you do something like this. I have no problem with people protesting policy. You cannot protest a people.
Well, they
That
weren't,
is not
so
a protest, that's a pogrom, and that has to stop.
Let's talk about the policy. Let's talk about how the Biden administration, how the president, let's talk about the policy.
When you do something like this, I have no problem with people protesting policy. You cannot protest a people. That is not a protest, that's a pogrom, and that has to stop.
Sorry,
let's talk about the policy. Let's talk about how.
I also want to talk about how actually disgusting it is that he called it a pogrom. A pogrom. Really? That's what you just said. That was a choice. First of all, it's amazing to me that there's like a Holocaust happening in Gaza right now, and they deny it. They're doing Holocaust denial. But then a bunch of protesters, pro-Palestinian protesters, will protest an illegal sale of real estate, and he calls that a pogrom. More gaslighting, endless gaslighting. So protesting a real estate event of illegal sales of illegal settlements is a pogrom, but the actual genocide happening in Gaza is not? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. He's such a he actually is the worst. He actually is the worst. And actually, yeah, what I love too is how, again, the way that our media and our culture and our country devalues Palestinian lives, that this was all over the news. This pogrom was all over the news because people were protesting these illegal sales. But you know what wasn't all over the news? The fact that a woman in Texas, a Zionist in Texas, tried to drown Palestinian children. For real. Literally. A psychotic Zionist in Texas tried to drown Palestinian children in a pool for no other reason than the fact that they were Palestinian. But you didn't see that on CNN. You didn't see that all over the front pages of the New York Times. You didn't see that all over Twitter. Wasn't trending the way that this was. Didn't see it all over TikTok. Weird. I wonder what Van Jones had to say about that. Because unlike protesting a real estate event, that would be a good thing to protest, since actually the Palestinian children were targeted because they're children. I mean, because they're Palestinian. So that's going after a people. It's just sick. It's literally sick.
The Biden administration, how the president's handling the policy, Van. How do you see it? Where does he need to improve on this?
Well, listen, I think that the president is in a tough position.
I love how they're like, he's worried about losing support from Jewish voters. It's like, you got a lot more to worry about, Playboy, because you're going to lose a lot of support from a bunch of young people and people who don't support your genocide. So maybe you should worry about that, and all the Arab voters. But they don't care about the Arab voters because they're racist, and because Arab voters in America, Arab American voters, do not have a lot of political clout. They don't really have... they're not a big enough voting bloc, and they don't have enough money or cachet yet in our politics to where they can have like a really I don't think there is any like huge Arab lobby. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I can't think of any like mad big Arab lobby. And there's not, they haven't grown enough in their influence in the United States for Democrats to give a shit about them. Because again, Democrats only pretend to give a shit about minorities when they want their vote. Like, they don't care about Black people at all, but they know that Black people are a huge demographic of Democratic voters. So they pander to them every couple of years to get their vote and then go back to not giving a shit. Yeah, for real, man with a long last name. They always do. I know, and it's amazing. No matter how much the New York Times does propaganda for the Israeli regime, you'll still see Zionists on Twitter acting like it's that it's like this leftist pro-Palestinian Arab paper. Like that's how they treat it. It's so embarrassing. Like that's what I mean too when I talk about this constant gaslighting. They literally take what's happening to the Palestinians and to Americans speaking out about it, or anybody in the West speaking out about it, and they turn it on its head and say it's happening to them. Like they turn it on its head and say it's happening to them. So like the New York Times does nonstop propaganda for the genocide and on behalf of the Israeli regime. And then if they even come out with an article that mentions AIPAC and all the money they spent, Zionists will tweet about it and go, geez, New York Times, why you got to be so anti-Semitic? We know you hate us. It's like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This is upside down world. It's upside down world. It literally is the Twilight Zone.
Because the base of the party is very concerned about these images that we keep seeing from Gaza, and he wants to take a strong stand on behalf of human rights for everybody. That's Joe Biden.
No,
At the same time, I think it's a little bit naive for some people to think that if Israel would just suddenly just stop doing what it's doing, that rainbows and bunnies and sunshine would break out over the Middle East and it would all be fine. The hostages have to be returned. If you can call for a ceasefire on both sides. Hamas is still firing its rockets. They still have hostages kidnapped. So this is a complex issue, but here's what's not complicated. Politics can be complicated. Geopolitics can be really complicated. How you treat your neighbors, how you treat people in your community is not complicated. You don't run up. I haven't seen any Jewish people running up on mosques with Israeli flags. If they did that, I'd be denouncing that too. There's certain things you don't do. It is a red line.
Apparently he's not on Twitter then, because we have seen multiple assaults from Zionists on Palestinians, even near mosques. Second of all, call me when the mosque is doing illegal sales of property that isn't theirs. Call me then. Also, the gaslighting too of, what do they think? That if they stop what they're doing, oh, you mean the genocide, that peace and rainbows and puppies is just going to break out in the Middle East? Who said that? Who said that? No one said that. What people are saying is stop murdering them. Stop killing them. Stop bombing them. Stop occupying them. Stop bombing these people that are helpless and are trapped in a concentration camp that you put them in. But to Van Jones, wanting that is rainbows and puppies and thinking that peace is just going to break out in the Middle East. Like, could he be more unbearable is the question. Could he be more unbearable?
If you want to be a part of a protest and they say, we're going to go to a Jewish community center, we're going to go to a mosque, we're going to go to a Jewish restaurant. That's not a protest. That's a pogrom. That's an anti-Jewish bigoted act. If you want to be a part of a protest, let's go to a mosque. Let's go and harass the Muslims. That's not a protest. So we've got to get clear in our country what is a fair protest about policy. You can agree or disagree, and what's going after people, human beings, terrifying moms, grandmas, children who are trying to be a part of a neighborhood. The Jewish neighborhoods in LA are well known. Nobody is confused where they are. So if you show up there wearing a keffiyeh, you show up there with your face covered, you show up there chanting river to the sea, that would be just like a white person running up with the Confederate flag in Harlem. You're not trying to start a conversation, you're trying to start a fight. Stop doing that. Don't do that. We don't want more violence. We don't want more fear. We don't want more terrified people.
Just so that we don't brush by that, he compared wearing a keffiyeh, which is a liberation symbol, a Palestinian liberation symbol, to the Confederate flag. That is anti-Arab, anti-Muslim, anti-Palestinian racism and Islamophobia. That literally is racist and Islamophobic, unironically. And I know that there are some people, I've heard people say this before. Oh, well, no, that can't be the case because Black people can't be racist or they can't be anti-Semitic. That's just cope. That's hardcore cope. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Well, no, because of the power imbalance. No, we're not talking about systemic racism. Yeah, you could make the argument and say no, Black people don't benefit from systemic racism because they have been systemically oppressed. True. But on an individual level, can a Black person express Islamophobia and racism? Absolutely. And that's exactly what that was. Don't dance around it. That's exactly what that was. And I'm tired of people like this saying outwardly racist, Islamophobic things, anti-Arab things, and then being like, well, no, I can get away with it. And actually, I'm not racist because I'm Van Jones and I'm Black. It's like, no, you don't get to pretend that what you just said wasn't hideously racist just because you're Van Jones and you're Black. Like, no, bro, that's so unacceptable. Nobody should accept that. You can't talk about a liberation symbol that was born out of their oppression and their struggle and compare that to the Confederate flag, which was a symbol of slavery, and think that that's not a racist statement, not a bigoted statement, not an Islamophobic statement. It is. And people need to start holding people like this accountable and stop giving them a pass. It's so tired. This is insane. Totally.
We got to be able to come together as a country.
And
if either side had an easy answer, it'd have been solved.
At all.
I'm less concerned about the politicians now. I'm concerned about the people in my community in Los Angeles moving in a direction that is more and more dangerous, more and more scary, more and more destructive. The Jewish community does not need to have people doing those types of things. It's not helping anybody in Palestine, but it's making America a much less safe place for everybody.
It's tough to watch the discourse and the dialogue devolve into what we witnessed in LA and other places. Van Jones, great to get your perspective. Thanks for being with us.
Well, thank you.
They're such liars. Totally insane. He said the kafia and NLP brainwashing technique. Yeah. It's just disgusting. It's so disgusting. It's just like unreal. Earlier app video. Oh, yeah, I saw that, David. Early videos of Van Jones when he was an activist are a whole different person. Yeah, because, you know, money and power is a hell of a drug. He's a fucking sellout. He got a lot of power and a lot of access and a lot of money by his association with Obama. And now he's just a corporate head. He's just a talking head for moneyed interests and corporations and wealthy people. Because I think they had that video, actually. Van Jones is a hack.
Students can do that in 1960.
What?
The students can do that in 1970. The students can do that in 1985 and 86. In 1993, when we have the United States government building a death camp, a concentration camp for Black people who have done nothing wrong but get sick and want justice. That's all they've done wrong. If we can't close that death camp, if this generation cannot prevent another Japanese American internment in our lifetime, we should all get haircuts and go get regular jobs and give it up. Now, if students can do that in 1960,
What an embarrassment. What a hack. Wow. It's amazing. Yeah, and here's a good reminder. Here's a good reminder of the gaslighting that's happening in this country, where people are getting called horrible names. They're getting attacked for wearing keffiyehs. They're getting smeared and lied about and libeled, the pro-Palestinian people. Also that, and we have to pretend that these people are all victims because they got uncomfortable at a protest. But yet we're all continually ignoring that there was a 6-year-old Palestinian American who was stabbed 26 times by his racist neighbor and killed. We have that, barely mentioned. And then we had these 3 boys who got shot for wearing keffiyehs. And that's another thing I want to point out why Van Jones is disgusting, because he is inspiring hate against people like this who wear keffiyehs. That's what he's doing. Those boys, they were like 18, 19, 20 years old. Those boys were targeted because they were speaking Arabic in between their English. They were kind of going back and forth, but also because they were wearing keffiyehs. So when Van Jones comes out here and says that wearing the keffiyeh is like wearing the Confederate flag, he's putting people's lives in danger. He's putting the lives of Palestinian and Arab people who wear keffiyehs in danger. That's what he's doing. And it's sick. It's disgusting. Because for those of you who don't know, who aren't American, the Confederate flag is a hate symbol that was used during the Civil War and has been used since by violent racists who believe in segregation and who wanted to keep slaves. That's what he's comparing the keffiyeh to. And he is putting them in danger when he says disgusting things like that. That boy on the far right of that photo is paralyzed. They all lived, thank God, when they all got shot. But the boy on the far right was paralyzed from it at 20 years old. Man is charged after hitting a pro-Palestinian protester with his car. And then you have the most recent one. A woman reportedly attempted to drown 2 Muslim Palestinian children in a pool in Texas. Yeah, that's crazy. It is crazy. Sorry, I just saw a comment that said that Candace Owens called for the ethnic cleansing of the Palestinians during the Right of Return March. Is that true? Pranay, do you have like a search I can search to find it? Like a term I can search to find it? I didn't know that. I didn't know that. And that's like how the propaganda works, is that like you also just don't hear it. They don't report on it. Like when the March of Return happened, the Western media didn't report on that at all. I didn't even know it happened until years later. Yeah, I don't want to say it's true because I haven't seen that, but if somebody has like a search term, I could search to do it. It's honestly exhausting because it's just nonstop gaslighting. It's literal nonstop gaslighting, nonstop lying, nonstop projection, like from everyone, from our media, from our government, from our corporations, from everyone. Because I told you guys, I'm sure that most of you who are in this live right now already know that like I got targeted a couple weeks ago by YouTube, and they basically demonetized my entire account because they claimed untruthfully that I was, quote, promoting terrorism and extremism. It was so insane. It was such an insane experience. It was so crazy. It was like so crazy. It was so insane. Like I did a live stream And they didn't do it until 2 days later. It was so weird. Like 2 days later, they did it. I did a live stream where I was just covering what had happened at the Al-Nusrat refugee camp that got attacked by the IOF during their hostage rescue. And I'm just talking about it with you guys like I'm talking about you with anything, reporting on what happened. And then they claimed that I was supporting and promoting terrorism and like totally like shut off like my whole account, kicked me out of the YouTube partner program. Like it was so insane. And that's what I mean when I say the gaslighting and the targeting from everybody, from our institutions, whether or not it is our media, whether or not it's our government, or whether or not it's our corporations, because the fact that that happened to me when I didn't even do that, like I didn't do anything even close to that. I didn't do anything. Like I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't do anything close to what they were saying, but they targeted me. And yet you can go on any Zionist YouTube channel and see the most deranged shit, the most genocidal shit, genocidal deranged shit, and nothing. It's so embarrassing. Oh, I felt like, what was the other thing I was going to check? Oh, yeah. Somebody had brought up the ADL Wikipedia, which I don't know. Is it anti-Semitism in Ireland is spiking? No, it's not. No, it's not. Oh, you guys must be talking about this. Wikipedia defends editors deeming Anti-Defamation League unreliable on Gaza. True. Good for Wikipedia. Because that's just the fucking truth. They are unreliable. They are a propaganda outfit. They're not like a reliable, like statistical body. Like they just spread propaganda. It's so crazy. And they're all butthurt about, like, a perfect example of that is the ADL claiming that anti-Semitism is rising in Ireland because of the protests. No, it's not. It's just that Ireland happens to be very pro-Palestine because Ireland was occupied. Ireland stands in solidarity with the Palestinians, the majority of them, because they know what it's like to be occupied and to be gaslit and told that like your land isn't your land. So that's why Ireland has a good relationship with the Palestinians. But of course, according to Jonathan Greenblatt and the ADL, everything and anything, the moon and the sun and the grass is anti-Semitic. And the New York Times and Wikipedia are actually run by Hamas. And did I say everything I don't like is anti-Semitic? That's basically the position of Jonathan Greenblatt and the ADL. So, of course, they're attacking Wikipedia. Jewish groups harshly criticized Wikipedia after its volunteer editor said the ADL has repeatedly published false and misleading statements about the Israel-Gaza war. Because they have. Because they have. Like, I like how they're all butthurt about it. Like, how dare you? It's like, because you have. You have. Street. Yeah, that it's true. That is why they conflate it. That is why they conflate anti-Semitism with anti-Zionism, because Zionism is an ugly ideology. It's a hideous ideology. It's an evil ideology. And you can't really defend it. So in order to defend the ideology of Zionism, you have to conflate them. You have to conflate it with anti-Semitism. Because most people will understandably, and I agree, condemn anti-Semitism because anti-Semitism is wrong. So, and they know that. So what they do is they conflate the evil ideology of Zionism with anti-Semitism, thus making it so people can't criticize Zionism. Yeah, I need somebody to explain to me how the IOF's YouTube channel is like around, is a thing. Because all they do is post genocide propaganda. Like, it's insane. Right. It's a perfect silver tongue. It's a perfect example of Zionist privilege and the West protecting Israel. Because you're right. They will say, oh, Russia's not allowed to compete in the Olympics, but the Israeli regime is. They'll be like, Russia's an autocracy and is not a democracy. And the US is, come on, please. Yeah, exactly, Silver Tongue. The biggest group of Zionists by population in our country are evangelical Christians. I like to separate evangelical Christian from Christian because I am a Christian, but I do not subscribe to evangelical thinking. I think evangelicalism is also an evil ideology. They've completely bastardized Christianity. They're creeps, they're capitalists, and they're Zionists. And so, yay, Leslie's a new member. Thank you, Leslie, for becoming a member. It's because Eddie. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. We are very manipulative in the West and specific in how we deploy and use the word terrorist. And it's always been like that. It's always been like that. Like when it comes to like white right-wingers that are terrorists, like we'll call them lone wolves. Like as far like a long time back, like even as far like this has gone on forever. Like if somebody's like Middle Eastern or like Muslim, they'll call them terrorists, but then they won't call like white people terrorists who do terrorist attacks. Like I recently watched a documentary about the Oklahoma City bombing, which I don't remember it happening or whatever, but like because I was too young, but I was watching a documentary on it and it was amazing how when it first happened, people thought that it was Muslims and so they were calling it a terrorist attack. But then after it was found out that it was Timothy McVeigh, who was a white right-wing zealot who was in the military, then they just started calling it an attack. Like totally changed the way they describe what happened at Oklahoma City. Yeah, it's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. All right. Hold on, guys. I gotta go. Give me a second because I gotta pee. And thanks, Fiza. Faza? I try to get names right. True, Jaya. All right, I gotta pee really quick, and then I want to read this article because I think it's good for all of us to know it. So, BRB. All right, let's read this. I had to get more coffee too. Oh, thank you, Fiza. You start sympathizing with them when. Yeah, totally. Did you know that George Galloway did a debate with do you condemn Hamas? Morgan. Yes, I actually watched it yesterday. Fua. I watched it yesterday. And it was actually really good. I really liked it. I thought that George Galloway made a lot of really great points. It was funny at the end because they started talking about Russia, and George Galloway was like, I trust Putin more than I trust Joe Biden. And Piers, but do you condemn Hamas? Morgan could not handle it. He was like, what? Like, it was so funny. Like, he couldn't believe it. But actually, that's a great example, Fua, of the what we were talking about earlier with the dehumanizing language. Because when Piers, but do you condemn Hamas? Morgan talked about October 7th, he used words like barbarism and evil and, you know, savage and horrific, inhumane. But then when he was talking about Palestinians, he just kept saying died. Oh, all the Palestinians who have died. Like, it's that framing. It's that framing. My chat. Oh, it's funny. Does your Malika Hamas? Yeah, same, Silver Tongue. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, but it was a good George Galloway, I feel like, did a good job of pointing out all debunking a lot of what Piers Morgan was saying, because he can basically called him out too for always making it seem like all of this started on the 7th of October, being like that you guys make it seem like it was like this is something that the Palestinians go through on the regular. Oh, fart chart. I'll check that out. Man with the long last name said we need to make the Discord server not dead. Yeah, you guys, that includes responding to other people, because I know it's new. Our Discord's pretty new, but I noticed that, like, if I post something or somebody posts something, people don't respond. It's like, you got to respond, friends. You got to respond. I want you guys to interact and engage with each other. Like, that's the point of it. Oh my gosh, Rishi Sunak is such a hack. Old Bodie Bird, oh my God, the monk debate with Mehdi Hassan made my blood boil. I saw parts of that and it made my blood boil too. I was in Massachusetts at the time, so I wasn't as online last week as I usually am. But because I was helping my sister, I saw parts, like clips of it on Twitter. I didn't see the whole thing. And it made my blood boil too, because I cannot stand that British guy who talks like he has like an old-fashioned bad guy accent. The one who like does pink washing, he'll be like, I'm gay, it is really. And he talks like really, really long and drawn out and like a bad guy from the 1920s. And you know what else he does? Douglas Murray, that's his name. He looks like somebody who would have lived in like Nazi Germany. Like, he literally looks like the guy who plays the bad guy Nazi in what is it called? Schindler's List. If you guys have ever seen Schindler's List, hold on, let me stop sharing this for a second. I think I forget his name. Ray Fiennes plays him. Okay. Okay, but does he not kind of look like that? Douglas Murray? He's so racist. He's so racist and Islamophobic. And then he gets on there and he's like, actually, and he's so condescending in the way that he talks. Like the way that he talks is so condescending. So he'll be talking to Mehdi Hassan, he'll be like, actually, like, tell me where the lie is. This looks exactly like Douglas Murray. But like slightly more attractive because Douglas Murray is yikes. Douglas Murray. Mehdi Hassan.
I want you to watch the closing remarks of.
What's it got to do with them? You're miles away. It's got absolutely into the brains of people in the West.
It's got absolutely in the brains of people in the West. First of all, this guy is literally psychotic. But doesn't he kind of remind you of like a bad guy from like the 30s? Like that would be in like a British movie. Yeah. He's, oh my gosh, he's the actual worst. And he wrote a book, which is so embarrassing, called The War on the West, where he basically, it's so Islamophobic. It's so Islamophobic. And in this book, he basically is talking about how there's this huge war on the West by the Islamists and the Arabs on the West for our civilization. Because they always try to make it like people in the Middle East or Muslims or Arabs are so uncivilized. Like we're so civilized here in the West. You know what I'm saying? Like we're so civilized here in the West. And the Arabs are so uncivilized that they're coming here and they're trying to make the West Muslim. They're trying to turn like New York City and Britain or London or whatever. It's like, it's so deranged. Like, it's so deranged. Yeah, he's like a villain from a movie, the way that he talks. He's very yikes. He's very yikes. Okay, let's read this article really quick. I want to do this while we're still on stream because I'm getting close to the 2-hour mark. Share screen. Silver tongue, because America's so civilized when we can't even afford ambulance. For real, though. For real, though. I know. I love when they're like, America is civilized. It's like, are we, though? Because we don't even give people health care. How civilized is that? Like, for real. We let veterans sleep on the street. We have over 400,000 people who are unhoused in this country. You call that civilized? We live in a country where people are, you know, have to make their entire identity work. And it's like, if you work and work and work until you're dead, how is that civilized? Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Yeah, totally, Tariq. Or Mud Chat about Douglas Murray. Yeah, 100%. Okay, let's read this really quick. It's short. Wikipedia is defending its community editors as they face pressure for declaring the Anti-Defamation League an unreliable source for information about the Israel-Gaza war, about the genocide. The dust-up began this month when editors for the English version of Wikipedia, one of the most visited websites in the world, voted to consider the ADL generally unreliable regarding Israel-Palestine conflict, genocide. The prompted a letter Monday from more than 40 Jewish organizations, including the ADL, to the Wikimedia Foundation, expressing concern and dismay by Wikipedia's attack on the ADL's reliability on the topic of anti-Semitism and other issues central to the concern to the Jewish community. First of all, they are unreliable. They are unreliable. Like, they lie about things on the regular. They'll say, without even investigating it, they'll be like, oh, anti-Semitic attacks are up 450%. And they either won't cite it or it'll be like someone said. like without actually providing any evidence or any context or anything. So, like the idea that they're a reliable source, that they're an unbiased, reliable source when it comes to Gaza is insane. It's absurd. I mean, to me, this is like the obvious thing. Wikipedia absolutely should not trust them. The letter accused Wikipedia of stripping the Jewish community of the right to defend itself from hatred that targets our community. Oh my gosh. They're really using the right to defend yourself routine on Wikipedia. You know what's embarrassing? What's embarrassing? First of all, they're stripping us of the right to defend ourselves on Wikipedia. Like, this is actually embarrassing. Like, this is embarrassing. But you know what's more embarrassing? And it's embarrassing for me, is that I used to believe like the ADL was like a reputable organization and I would believe what they said. That's embarrassing. Totally embarrassing that I used to believe that. And like not even that long ago, like before October 7th, like I thought that they were like a legit and reliable source. Embarrassing. The ADL, founded in 1913, is a Jewish civil rights group that monitors hate and extremism. In recent months, however, its pro-Israeli stances have compromised its reputation, critics say. Yeah, and not just critics, people who've actually worked for the ADL have come out and criticized them because what they're getting into is the same bullshit of anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism. I did a TikTok video about this a while ago, but like what they do, and I posted it on YouTube too, is they do the conflation of saying that anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism, and then they'll conflate those two things, and then they try to work with organizations to enforce censorship on them. The ADL is one of the organizations that works with TikTok to censor pro-Palestinian voices. The ADL is one of the organizations that tries to censor pro-Palestinian speech on all platforms, including Twitter and TikTok. And they constantly conflate anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism, which unironically makes Jewish people less safe. The ADL was active and advocate. The ADL was active as an advocate for Zionism long before October 7th attacks by Hamas that reignited bloodshed in the region. The organization reignited as if like Palestinians weren't being attacked before then. The organization has faced multiple controversies in recent months, with some criticizing its methodology it uses to quantify the number of anti-Semitic attacks, its college campus anti-Semitism report cards, and even its definition of anti-Semitism. The ADL describes itself as the global leader in combating anti-Semitism, countering extremism, and battling bigotry wherever and whenever it happens. The ADL works to protect democracy and ensure a just and inclusive society for all. No, they don't. They actually they attack democracy regularly by doing things like trying to censor people, trying to censor pro-Palestinian voices on multiple platforms. So they actually are anti-democracy, number one. And number two, they also attack and smear pro-Palestinian people on the regular and call them anti-Semitic, like what happened on the college campuses where they smeared all those college protesters. Wikipedia is run by volunteers who decide on the wording and sources of its articles, but seek to ensure neutral, reliable information is available for all. According to a news release from the Wikimedia Foundation, a nonprofit that administers wikipedia.org. Right. So what the ADL is actually mad about is they're mad that Wikipedia was saying, something true, that their information is very unreliable, which is a fact. And also they're mad because they want to be able to control what they do. So they claim they believe in democracy, but they absolutely don't. They're pissed off because they want their propaganda to be repeated on Wikipedia. Right. There is no such thing as being neutral. Yeah, it's actually insane. I wonder if they've said anything about it on X. Mm. Not seeing it. Not seeing it. You know what they should do on Wikipedia? What they should do is they should add on the ADL page that this happened and that they were trying to tell them what to do. That would be kind of awesome. Yeah, seriously. Yeah. But even when people add an edit, like it can still, there's like multiple people that can fact check it and change it if the edit is wrong. So like, I don't know. In the news, search. Am I on Wikipedia? Where am I? No. According to this, we have Blakely, Alabama, Blakely Township in Minnesota. There's a Blakely, New York, an unincorporated hamlet. I don't even know what that is. A Blakely, Pennsylvania, and a Blakely, West Virginia. There's a Blakely building and a Blakely River in Alabama. Amazing. Just not me. Just not me. I am predicting now for this debate tonight that Biden is going to lose. And in the media perception, he's going to lose. Yeah, I need a Wikipedia page for all my haters because I have a lot of haters. So I need a Wikipedia for that. In fact, if I had a Wikipedia, I bet that all my haters would go on there and try to change it to saying that I'm Hamas. Because that's what my haters do. Yeah, I know. I hope that they keep this energy though, Wikipedia, that they stand by what they said. Because the only reason why the ADL sent that letter is because they were trying to intimidate them. They were trying to intimidate them into changing it. Because remember, that's what they did to Elon Musk. Remember how when Elon Musk like made that anti-Semitic comment about like the Great Replacement theory or whatever, and the ADL basically took him on a propaganda trip to Israel to have him wear that little baby vest he wore, that little baby bulletproof vest, and meet with Netanyahu and basically just try to get him on their side. Because if you'll notice, ever since that happened, Elon Musk used to criticize the ADL and now he never does. And he never criticizes the Israeli regime since that happened and since he went on that trip. You guys hate when you know you have to like cook something and you don't feel like it. Everyone goes there. People get brainwashed. Yeah. Or they get radicalized. Like, one of the things that I read about Jamal Bowman, despite his flaws, I know he has a lot of flaws, that he has many. But one of the things that I read about him was that he was very kind of didn't really have an opinion on Israel before he went on the trip. And then the congressional delegation took them on a trip there because for their own propaganda trip. And that's not speculation. In that Thomas Massey interview, he said that they literally take them on propaganda trips. And once Jamal Bowman saw the occupied West Bank and how the Palestinians are treated there, he was like, wait a second. Yeah. Yeah. Like usually that's what happens if people actually go there and see, as opposed to being totally just like removed and like basically just in Tel Aviv, you know? Yeah, they're really bizarre. Like, it's just crazy to me that you can just like go there on birthright and be like, okay, I'm going to go take someone's house now. Like, it's so bizarre. I love Matt Lieb too. He's great. He's great. Anyway, though, I'm fixing to wrap this up. First of all, a few notes. Number one, thank you to everybody that gave super chats. I appreciate you guys so much. You're the reason why I can make the content that I do and do these lives. Thank you so much to Saeed for gifting all those memberships. And regarding the Discord, join the Discord if you haven't and participate. If people post, like, talk to them back or like it or whatever. Like, interact with people. That's what it's for. Share shit. And I think that's it. I will probably do another live. I don't even know. Probably Monday. I might do it Monday. But react to Mehdi Hassan next time. About what? What did Mehdi Hassan about the debate with Douglas Murray? Yeah, thank you guys so much. And thank you guys for joining me on the live. I love you all. Join the Discord. Thank you again to everybody who donated and gave me super chats. You can become a member here or on my Ko-Fi. I love you all. And if you want to see some content regarding the debate, which I know some of you don't care, but for those of you who do, I'm going to put that on my TikTok tomorrow. All right, everybody. I love you so much. Free Palestine. Free Palestine. And let's look out for each other. That's also why the Discord is important. It's community building. All right, everybody. I love you. Bye.